explosion of hope. Never turns the lights down low. She can go there if you want her though. There are no markings on a country road, no sign to show the way back home. But when you get there you won't wanna go. I've frozen over my desire, covered up in virgin snow. But when I stand beside her, she burns, yeah, she burns like petrol, soap, paper and fireworks. And I'm burning, yeah, I'm burning so deep that just breathing hurts. I'm melting down and I can't let go. She likes to lay under the covers, oh, pretend that everywhere's our home, keeps me warm right to my very soul.
Welcome back to the dyeing studio of Fiber for the People Yarn. My name is Taylor and I am the dyer behind Fiber for the People Yarn, and I am also the host of the Wool Needles Hands, a Fiber Journey channel here on YouTube, which is where you have stumbled upon this vlog series. This is the third installment in a series of vlogs that I've been doing, chronicling my process behind coming up with the sock set colorways for the Color Fest Sock Set Club for Fiber for the People. I mentioned this before in previous installments of this series that the Sock Set Club is closed. However, this is just my way of chronicling my process and creating those exclusive one-of-a-kind colorways to share that with you guys here. So today we are going to be working on the festival Carnivale, which is takes place in Venice, Italy. It is kind of a masquerade type festival in Venice, and it's so beautiful. The costumes are always so amazing. The color is just incredible, and so that was really what I wanted to draw inspiration from. But with all of the color involved in Carnivale, I guess one would ask why I chose to do something with such subtle and muted colors and so few colors. And I think that's because this is just, I always go with the photo that strikes me the most and inspires me the most, and then also too that I think would produce a really beautiful colorway. If you're not familiar with the Color Fest Sock Set Club, it's a yarn club, subscription club, and each sock set that comes out in the subscription club is based on a cultural celebration from around the world. And so this time, the celebration that I chose to do was Carnivale. And also too, because right now, the time that I'm filming this, it's mid-October, and so there's lots of, you know, parties going on, and the whole dress-up vibe is happening, and so I thought this would be appropriate to that. But I just loved this photo. I think I've always had kind of an interest in this celebration and what it would be like to participate in this, but the masks and the costumes and that eerie kind of vibe that's put off by all of the masked people, especially the masks like this where the eyes are blacked out, I just think that's so interesting, so like, you know, Eyes Wide Shut, kind of like a little bit of a Stanley Kubrick vibe to that. But I mean, this has been around for ages, and so I just think it's a really cool, I don't know, it's a really cool aesthetic, I guess, and so I really wanted to go with that. But the reason I chose this is because I just loved the drama of the photo. I loved all the shadows in the photo. I think that makes for a really fun play with different tones. So that's what I chose, and I'm really excited to kind of get started on this colorway. I already have some ideas of what I want to do. I've been looking at this you know, a lot lately, just kind of figuring how this could play out on a skein of yarn, and I've got some ideas. And so I'm really ready to get started. So let's go ahead and look at the different parts of this photo together and see what we can pull from this. Okay, so a couple of things as I look at this that really stand out. I'm going to fold this to the side so I can kind of see around the photo. Okay, so it's this beautiful blue color that we're seeing here that really stands out to me. I think that was the biggest draw, was this really fun icy blue color and all of the shadows of that color kind of peeking through the ruffles of the skirt, that I really think could be translated really beautifully onto a skein of yarn, and then that paired with this really warm, rich, almost brown gray that's happening back here of the stone, you know, wall behind her. And then also too, the really dark black eyes, the lips, there's a kind of a black bodice. You know, actually, now that I'm looking at it, oh gosh, that would be even more beautiful discoveries all the time. So now that I'm looking at it, this, the bodice and the sleeves, they're not a black crushed velvet like what I thought they were originally. It's almost like this super, super dark, like teal green color. And I don't think you would be able to see that really well on the camera. I can put it a little closer. Oh, but that's so beautiful. I love that. I am such a sucker for really deep teal greens, and that's inspiring me in all new kinds of ways. So that's really pretty. So I didn't see that the first time. I'm really happy I see it now. And I think a really good way to get that super deep teal green that you're seeing there is to maybe mix some black into the color, into the dye stock. So that's definitely possible. But I definitely want to play with black. I feel like I play with black in almost every color that I do. Almost. And that's just because I love the sharpness that it brings to the colorway and the depth that it adds in the dimension. But this is definitely going to be some kind of a teal green, but you can see there's spots there where black would be completely appropriate. Obviously the eyes, and then of course we have this real white wig up here with the gray jewels in the wig, the silver jewels and kind of like diamond sparkly looking things going on in the wig. I think that would be a really cool place to play with like speckle options of different colors that would meet that, like some gray speckles, some silver speckles. That could be a lot of fun. And then also too, in the folds of the dress and the ruffles, and then even the shadows on the gloves, I see little hints of like almost like a real fair, a real pale, like aubergine or even like a mauve kind of color coming through. So that could be someplace we could go. I've thought even about little bits of kind of sage green playing in there. So there's lots of possibility for various ways of adding dimension to this color and adding different tones of the colors that you see present in the photo. And so I'm really, really excited to get to this. The things that stand out majorly to me right now are that really warm gray background, that stone, and that actually, there's variety there. So down here we have a really warm gray, and as we move up, it kind of lightens until we have almost just a real light gray happening right up here. So there's dimension going on there. And then also there's the black shadow of this archway behind. So yeah, lots of really cool dimension there. Like I said, that really deep teal green, and then this really beautiful blue. So that's where we're going to go. And then of course these patches of deeper shadowy blues happening in here. So I'm going to go ahead and write down some of the things that I see happening in here. And then we are going to tackle what I like to call our base color, our base layer first. But let's go ahead and write down some of the things that we see happening in this photo. Okay, so we have this really nice icy blue color with deeper shades in the folds. Then we have this real deep teal green. Perhaps mix that black, mix it with some black to give it some more depth. A really warm gray, silver speckles maybe somehow in this. Definitely black. I feel like every one of the cards I've written has black with 2 underlines under it on every single one. And then like mauve undertones, however you want to say that. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking for our base color. Now, in the photo, we have this really beautiful, warm gray background that's happening right here. And that's not your regular gray. I mean, if you look close, it almost looks like there's little bits of purple, like casting onto the gray. I mean, it's a very warm, rich gray color. And so we want to kind of keep track of that and make sure that we're including not a cool gray, but a nice, really warm gray with almost brown undertones too, and purple. And so in order to get that kind of background color, and I don't want to dye the yarn a solid gray like that all over the yarn, because it wouldn't lend me any additional space to play with the icy blue colors and to play with different speckles or different additions of color, whether it be speckles or not, because I would have all one layer of gray, which would ultimately tone everything down, and I wouldn't achieve the brightness that I'm looking for in especially that icy blue. So I want to figure out a way that I can get a nice background color onto the yarn, but that's going to leave me with some really nice space to play with additional color. And I don't want to do a half and half dip. I don't want to do a micro striping yarn with this particular yarn. I want it to be pretty variegated, it's not the word, but I don't want it to be quite so contrived a distribution of color. So I don't want it to just be complete half and half color. I want it to be a little bit more variegated, I guess, or a little bit more, what is the word I'm even looking for? Random. I think that's a good word. And I have a way that I think we can do that. It's a really cool technique. I like to call it, so this is just what I call it, I like to call it dry dipping. If I'm taking notes on a colorway and I use this technique, I always just call it dry dipping. And that's where I add the water to the dye bath dry, and I don't touch it, I don't submerge it into the water, I let it slowly sink down into the dye bath, absorbing that color gradually. And it kind of gives a really cool random distribution of color, but allows you to have some little blank spaces to work with additional color as well. And then later on, after we've added our icy blue, and if we want to play with that teal green, we can come back and add a little bit more of that warm gray if we feel like we need a little bit more of that present in the colorway, but we'll see. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go ahead and dry dip the yarn in a bath of what I think would be a really great warm gray. And before I do that, I got to mix that dye stock. So let's go ahead and mix a really nice warm gray dye stock.